Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to be talking about 10 different fragrances that are going to make you stand out, that are going to make you smell completely unique so that no one else that you know or anyone else around you is going to smell like. And every time that someone does smell you, they're going to be like, what the heck is he wearing? Because these fragrances on this list are very not normal is probably the word that I'm looking for there. Strange. Not conventional fragrances for the most part. They're like I said, things that I've never smelled before in terms of fragrances. There's a few on the list, the further down we go, that are just so weird, so like out of the ordinary that you wouldn't expect them to even put that into a fragrance. So guys, just before we get on with this video, if we can smash 150 likes, I think the last video that I set a like target at 100, we absolutely smashed past it in the first 24 hours. So if we can smash past 150 likes in the first 24 hours, I will be doing a giveaway of a 2 or 5ml sample. It's completely random. I'll flip a coin of one of these fragrances. So if you guys want to learn more about that and the kind of details of how to actually win the giveaway and how to enter it, I will talk about it a little bit more towards the end of this video. But if we can hit 150 likes, that would be insane. And I'll do a giveaway. Also guys, if you are new to the channel, please do not forget to subscribe. If you're a fan of fragrances and you love to talk about fragrances just like we do on the channel, then this might be the right place for you. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, please feel free to subscribe too. Okay guys, so we are going to kick things off in the number 10 spot. I think I've only spoke about this fragrance once in one video, and that was ranking every single one of my fragrances, which was a very long video. I think it was like an hour and a half. If you've not watched that video, I definitely recommend you watch it. It gives you an idea of what I think of every single one of my fragrances. But at the number 10 spot, this one, I think I've only worn it once, and I got a really strange reaction on it. Like someone said, like, I smell futuristic was what they told me. I have no idea what that means, but the fragrance that we are talking about at the number 10 spot is this one here. Mugler Run Free. So this is an eau de toilette concentration, and surprisingly it's only got 2 notes, and I think the Mugler cologne line, from what I've seen, they only do 2 notes. So the 2 notes in here, one of them's quite simple, one of them's ginger. The other note that they use is called, and forgive me if I say this wrong, akigala wood, which I have no idea what that actually is, so I'm gonna have a little look. Because it's very strange. I don't really know how many fragrances have akigala wood in it. Is that even how you say it? Akigala woods. Montblanc Explorer has it in it, it says. A few other fragrances, but none that I really know. So, yeah, it has it in this. Amouage Purpose 50. I don't really know how I can like describe this fragrance, guys, because like I said, it's so strange. I mean, obviously you've got the ginger in there, so it is quite spicy a little bit. But obviously you've also got this kind of like groundy, almost like woody earthiness, if that makes sense. I think that's obviously from the other note in here. So there's only 2 notes. It's a tiny little bit fresh at the kind of end of it. But yeah, super strange one. Guys, if you want to smell like futuristic or something like that, and something basic but also strange, give this one a try. Mugler Run Free. Coming in at the number 9 spot, guys, this one is a clone. I've talked about it a fair few times on the channel. I haven't got the actual bottle, but you could obviously use the real thing. Funny enough, the bottle looks just like the real thing anyway, from Tom Ford. The one that we are talking about for the clone is Bright Peach by Maison Alhambra. You could use Bitter Peach from Tom Ford. I just happen to have this one. Like I said, they're a clone, so they smell almost the exact same. I prefer this one, actually, funny enough. But just like what the name says, it just smells like peach. So it's got the main note of peach and cognac. So it's very sweet. I wouldn't say it's boozy, but there is this kind of like liquor note in it, which really kind of makes it a little bit almost spicy, if that makes any sense, whilst also staying sweet. So the way that I describe this thing is, if you imagine the life cycle of a peach. So it starts off, you know, like a normal peach. It's fresh. It's like green fresh, if that makes sense. Like before it's like actually properly gone to like the middle part of it, like the middle stages. So then it becomes like the best part, the fresh, like juicy part. and then it will just slowly start to decay, and like you can kind of like get the earthiness and stuff like that. So that's kind of like what this fragrance reminds me of. First spray, super fresh. It's super it's super fresh. It's really fruity, and then towards the dry down and stuff like that, and the middle notes, it starts to get a little bit more earthy, and then towards the end, it just smells just like an earthy peach, which is quite cool. Very unique. I've not really smelled too much things, especially fragrances now, that smell like this. The only thing that I really know that smells like a sweet liquor peach is this thing, which is Triumph of Bacchus, but this is done in a different way. This thing, like I said, it just reminds me of like the life cycle of a peach, which is quite cool. So coming at the number 9 spot was Bright Peach or Bitter Peach by Tom Ford or Maison Alhambra. Coming in at the number 8 spot, this one's a lot more wearable, but it's a lot stronger, to be honest, than the other two. In one way, it's not like as special and unique, but in another way, no other person around you really will smell like this. So you'll stand out, but you will definitely get compliments because one, this is one of the strongest fragrances that I own, but also it just smells really pleasant, really enjoyable too. And the one that we are talking about at number 8 is this one here, Montale's Arabians Tonka. So again, like I said, it does smell very nice. It has got the main note of oud in here, or you know, like they say it's oud. I'm not sure what they would use, but I get that. I also get like a sugar note in here, and also rose. So those three things, they sound like they wouldn't work, but trust me, even though it smells almost harsh from the oud, it's a very sweet, woody, flowery fragrance if you put those notes together. But a really nice one. Like I said, it does great for compliments. It lasts a super, super long time, for me anyway. I get like literally, if I spray this on clothes, it doesn't come off. It always just lingers around. I think that's from the oud in here. But yeah, quite a strange one. Just the fact that all the notes in here are just completely different. They all contrast, but they work quite well together. So coming in at the number 8 spot is Montale Arabians Tonka. Next up is the first one of the house that is going to feature in this video. It was bound to, right? It's my favourite fragrance house, which is Amouage, but they are also very strange. This fragrance is probably one of their strangest ones that they make or made, because it is now discontinued. I looked everywhere to try and find this fragrance. I looked for months to try and get a bottle of this, and when I saw it come up, I was like, I'm buying that straight away. Blind buy. Never smelled it before. I just knew, as an Amouage collector or as a fragrance collector, I just like, yeah, I'm just going to buy it, and then if I don't like the smell of it, so what? At least I've got the bottle, and it's part of my discontinued Amouage collection. The one that we're talking about hardly gets talked about on the channel. It's this one here, probably because I hardly wear it too. Amouage Myths Man. So this, if I just describe the notes to you, you'll be like, why is this a fragrance? So there's quite a cult following in Amouage for this fragrance, and I can kind of see why. It has got this quite nice note in here, being leather and ash. So sounds very strange, but the notes on this thing, the main one is a chrysanthemum flower, which is this really like spiky pink purple flower, a little similar a little bit actually to the top color of this fragrance bottle. And chrysanthemum flower in the UK is often used as a funeral flower, and that's not the weirdest part about this fragrance, because you've also got the main note of ash in here. This is a very ashy, leathery, flowery scent, and when you smell it, like, you have got this harsh ash note. Usually most fragrances will use like a smoky note or something like that, but no, this is like actual like powdery ash. Very strange one, guys. Probably the strangest one of the strangest ones from Amouage. It does, another one or two do actually feature in this list. Next up, we're going from a semi-unwearable Amouage to another niche fragrance now that is quite wearable. It's very nice smelling. It's very pleasant. It's very mass appealing, but it is very special. It's very unique. The one that we are talking about, and I've never really seen a fragrance done with this note in this way. The one that we are talking about, we've gone from one purple fragrance to the other one. The one that we're talking about next is Initio's Side Effect, and I can't get enough of this thing lately. I think it's featured in like 2 or 3 of my last like 4 or 5 videos. I have no idea why, it just kind of seems to keep popping up. But man, like I said, this has the main note of rum in here, but it just has this really sweet but fresh rum note. It's very strange. The note breakdown of this fragrance isn't actually too complicated. So similar to Run Free, it is kind of simple in terms of notes. So it's got, like I said, rum. It's also got this kind of like pipe tobacco in here, cinnamon, sandalwood as well. So it has this kind of like creamy spiciness to it, this kind of like tobacco-y smell. The rum, though, I think mixes with this like hedione and saffron. So there's 2 flowers in here that freshen this up so much. And also you've got this rum and cinnamon note that sweeten it. Sounds really strange to describe. And like I said, this is a very unique fragrance video. And I always find this fragrance hard to describe. But if I can, the best way I can is it smells like rum, cinnamon, floweriness, but also with tobacco. Terrible explanation. But yeah, hard one to describe. Next up was Initio Side Effect. Following on from Initio Side Effect, this one I actually don't have a bottle of. I am potentially going to be getting one just because I love this fragrance. Very strange one. It's something that doesn't really get like replicated too much. It's a very different type of fragrance. The one that we are talking about is from, well, it's from the house of Frederic Malle, which, similar to Amouage, they're very daring. They are very unapologetic with the loudness of their fragrances in terms of like projection, longevity. But also, like Amouage, they have also got this really, really nice quality of notes and uniqueness too. It's a very hit or miss fragrance. For me, I am definitely part of the I love it category. The one that we are talking about, I've got a tiny, tiny little sample here. It's called Musc Ravageur. It's one of the more popular ones from Frederic Malle. So Musc Ravageur is a spicy vanilla fragrance. Some people relate this to like a kind of like sweaty sort of fragrance, like as if like you were to just come out the shower or something and you just get like proper sweaty again. That's how people describe this thing sometimes. And man, I love it. It just smells so good. I think there's a tangerine note in here. There's some sort of citrus note in here as well. Maybe like a kind of like bitter orange, it must be. Just make this fragrance smell, even though with vanilla, it's one of the most popular fragrance notes. They make it unique. They make the way that this thing smells so unique. Very, almost spicy, long lasting as well. Man. Spray this thing on your skin, it's not coming off for at least a day. Like you can like spray a tiny bit on, try and scrub, it's not coming off. Super unique one. Like I said, this kind of like sweaty vanilla smell, but in a very nice way in my opinion. So yeah, next up was, for uniqueness, Musc Ravageur by Frederic Malle. Coming in at the number 4 spot, this one, in terms of fragrances, it is very unique, but in terms of smells, I'm sure that you've smelled it before. So the one that we are talking about is from the house of Mancera. It is this one here, Tonka Cola. And I actually do decant this, by the way, so I will leave a link in the description to try some decants of this one, because it is very strange. And yeah, it is very strange. I gotta admit, for a fragrance, it's something you will probably never smell much of. And Tonka Cola, can you, what do you think that this thing smells like, right? So to me, it smells like cherry cola. And it's very unique and different because like who is going to be spraying cherry cola on themselves? So like, I've not actually had that reaction yet that like I smell like cherry coke, but that's exactly what this thing smells like. But it has got this almost Amouage like resinous spiciness in the dry down, which is very nice. It's a very nice dry down for this fragrance. But the first like hour mark, you just smell like completely like cola, like cherry cola. Sweet. It is sweet, like from the Tonka part. But yeah, like I said, like who's going to be running around smelling like they just spilled like cherry coke all on themselves? So next up at number 4 was Mancera's Tonka Cola. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we are again going on with this kind of trend of very unique, but also a very likable scents. And this one does it in such a good way. One of my favorite from the house, definitely. This is from the house of Parfums de Malle. And if I can relate this to anything, this is like this fragrance is like Aventus is for Creed. So the one that we are talking about is this one here, Layton by Parfums de Malle. And the reason why I say it is a little bit similar to Aventus is this thing really kicked off the popularity of the house. Similar, a little bit like what Aventus did with Creed. This thing, though, doesn't smell anything like that. This fragrance doesn't smell like anything really that I've smelled before. If I can compare this, like the most similar and generic fragrance I can relate this to slightly is Hugo Boss Boss Bottled, the original one. So this has got the notes, it smells like a freshly baked apple pie, some people say. But I, in the opening, smell Vicks Vapor Rub. So, yeah, strange, right? It's very like, you either get it or you don't with this fragrance. I love it, personally. I decided I'm going to get a proper bottle of this after having a clone Detour Noir for quite a while. And I thought I'd pick up the real thing because, like we know, there's nothing like the real thing, but you know the clone does come very, very close. So the main notes that I get from this fragrance, and they're all in the back because I got a vintage tester bottle, but the main notes that I get are vanilla being the main one for Parfums de Malle. They do really good vanilla. So it has got, like I said, with Musc, like I said, with Musc Ravageur. Vanilla is very common, but with this fragrance, they use common notes and just make it very strange, very unique. So it's got vanilla, it's got apple, it's got cardamom, which gives it this kind of like spicy sexiness to it, and lavender too. So they're the kind of main notes. It is a little bit peppery as well. And yeah, I'm definitely getting that Vicks Vapor Rub smell. So yeah, you either get the Vicks Vapor Rub or you get this freshly baked apple pie. Very strange, very unique, very mass appealing though, which is another unique thing with this fragrance. Don't be put off by it. There's a reason why it's so talked about, because it is so nice, such a lovely fragrance. So coming in at number 3 is, I need to just knock myself out, and especially with the weight of this cap, that would have knocked me out. So coming in at the number 3 spot is Parfums de Malle Layton. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we're going from one navy blue fragrance bottle to the next. This one is something that you will not have smelled before, unless you've been to a gorilla enclosure and you've ever smelled licorice in a gorilla enclosure. That is what this fragrance reminded me of the second I smelled it. My brother says it smells like McDonald's burger sauce. Very, very strange analogies of this fragrance. It is, again, from the house of Amouage. So the one that we are talking about is this thing here. This is the less strange version. This is Interlude Black Iris. The normal Interlude you could definitely include Interlude 53. I just happen to have Interlude Black Iris, which is the more wearable version of the 3 in my opinion. This has orris root in it, so it gives it this buttery iris smell, this flowery buttery iris. But this fragrance is one of the most polarizing fragrances in the community. This one, not so much. So the original version of this has got the main note of oregano in it. The smell of, like, you know, what you put in for cooking and stuff like that. And for some people, that gives it this sweatiness to it. This thing is a little bit less, but like I said, it smells like a gorilla enclosure. If you've ever been to a gorilla enclosure, you can smell, this is such a strange analogy for this thing. If you've ever been to a gorilla enclosure, you will smell it. You will be able to just smell the BO or whatever gorillas smell like. That is a little bit, if you spray this super close to your, if you smell this super close to your hand, that's one of the notes you get. But also from this like buttery iris and other like apopanax or whatever else they put in this, like resins, and like the other like resins in here, like you've got oud, you've got labdanum, myrrh, amber. When that is in this fragrance, it also gives it this like sticky, licorice note. So you've got that kind of like sweaty BO sort of smell from, in the original you've got, what was it, oregano. In the Black Iris they use rosemary. You've also got the oud, the leather, patchouli, so that gives it this kind of like dankness. But then you've also got the sweet licorice smell from like the orris root and the vanilla and other notes that are in this thing. Strange, super strange. One of the strongest fragrances out there, in my opinion, especially from Amouage. This is the Blue Beast from Amouage. Very polarizing. You either love it or you hate it. Like I said, my brother relates this to burger sauce from McDonald's. I smell this and I think it smells a little bit like a blue Smartie, which is strange. But that could just be because my nose is a little bit more developed than his in terms of like smelling fragrances. So yeah, coming in at the number 2 spot is Amouage Interlude Black Iris. And guys, just before we get on with the number 1 spot, remember, if you haven't already, please do not forget to drop a like in this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. If we can hit the 150 likes in the first 24 hours, I will be doing a giveaway, like I said. If you guys did want to sign up for the giveaway, what I will do is leave a link down in the description below. What I will do, guys, is if we do hit that target, I will put everyone's names into a random like wheel generator, and I will then reach out to you and we'll do a separate wheel where we do 2ml or 5ml and then any one of these fragrances. So it's a completely random scenario. So if that sounds like some fun that you guys want to be part of, then there is a link in the description too. Right guys, and coming in at the number 1 spot, the strangest fragrance, the most unique fragrance out there, in my opinion. This is something that I would never expect for a fragrance to do. The way that they went in the direction is just so strange. Coming in at the number 1 spot, guys, the most unique fragrance that I own, Your Sauvage. And guys, I'm only joking. This is probably the least unique fragrance that I own. I think everyone has Dior Sauvage or has owned Dior Sauvage. Coming in at the number 1 spot, it's, like I said, genuinely now, something that I have never, ever, ever smelled in a fragrance. I don't think I ever will. It's one of the only fragrances that I know that actually goes in this direction. So when you think of a fragrance, you think, okay, it might be quite sweet, it might be quite gourmand, it might smell fresh, it might smell clean, it might smell sometimes quite animalic, that you get from stuff like Amouage Man or YSL Kuros or Antaeus. This one though, oh yeah, sometimes you get flowery smells. This one is it has got some flowery notes in it, but the main note is earth, and it's very earthy, soily fragrant with some flowery notes in it. The one that we are talking about, a number 1 spot from the House of Amouage again. The weirdest fragrance I know of, the weirdest fragrance I own, is this one here. Amouage Figment Man. I think that's back to front, yeah. Amouage Figment Man. One of the nicest bottle designs of all time from Amouage. This is probably my favourite one. I love the colours of this. It's kind of like electric blue. And this fragrance, and the bottle especially, reminds me, and this is the best way I can describe this fragrance, is when you go camping and it's the next morning, so it's been raining all night at this campsite, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's like a massive rainstorms, massive, you know, rain going all over like the soil, all over the grass around your tent, and there's a thunderstorm, and it's woken you up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And you wake up and you realise, okay, I really need to go to the toilet. So you're at this campsite, smashing it down with rain, there's lightning storms going on, and a lightning strike has just gone bang right outside of your tent. And you realise that you need to go out for the toilet because you are absolutely desperate, right? It's still thunder and lightning. Lightning's just hit right next door to your tent, so you're not going to go out. So you go back to sleep. You wake up then at like 7, 8 o'clock. So you go outside, you go for a wee. And right where you're weeing is where the lightning's just struck. So you've got this damp, dirty, soily smell. You've got the kind of like lightning strike, and then you've also got like the kind of like flowers that are sort of coming up in like the grass around you. But there is also this kind of like wee smell to it almost. It reminds me, like I said, just of like waking up on a campsite like the next morning after it raining, and you can just smell the soil. That's what this reminds me of. I think Christopher Chong, whenever he kind of commissioned this fragrance, it was supposed to smell like in the mountains of Bhutan, which is, I think, by the Himalayas, where Mount Everest is, basically. So I have no idea. I can't say if it smells like that because I've never been. But yeah, guys, this fragrance, it just smells like complete soil. The first time you spray it, it's so earthy. You just smell like an earthworm, guys, when you spray this thing on. But what is strange and unique about this is most fragrances will start off light and then they'll develop into like a darker, woodier smell, whereas this does the opposite. It starts off super earthy, super dark, and then it transitions. I need to find out what floral note is in here because it's really nice. Geranium and labdanum, which is quite cool. Yeah, so it must be the geranium then. When you get into the dry down, you just get this lovely labdanum and geranium flowery notes that kind of come out. So super nice. It's like kind of like new life after this like lightning strike. The note breakdown of this thing, the top notes, it says geranium, lemon, and pink pepper. So it gives us this kind of like spiciness. Middle notes are animalic notes, which is probably that like wee smell that I'm getting. Vetiver, sandalwood. And then the base notes, this is like all I get, to be honest, myself, are the earthy notes, labdanum, and also guaiac wood. All I get is just a deep, earthy note from this thing. Super unique, super strange. So coming at the #1 spot, guys, Amouage Figment Man. Probably the only time it's going to come in at the #1 spot. If you guys did make it this far, please don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to comment down below. If you have any other suggestions for strange fragrances, these are just a few in my collection that the strangest ones or have gotten me strange reactions. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.